let's look at public perception of Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. No doubt, it has the status of the largest network, radio network in Africa, and that's a plus, and that makes it tick. But there is public perception that it's just the mouthpiece of the federal government. It cannot criticize the federal government. It cannot watch over the people's interest because I can never say the truth. Have you had it in the last 3 to 4 months?
Well, I think, I mean, not even in the last 3 to 4 months. I think I've had it even long before that, before then. I think it's what people in the organization decide to do with the medium that creates their public perception. And I think we need to change that. Yes, it is a government medium. We are supposed to publicize policies of government, but I think we shouldn't be doing that blindfolded. I think we should look at the policies, analyze those policies, see how it affects individuals, because if it is a mouthpiece, if it's just a mouthpiece and you don't give the stakeholders the opportunity to comment on these issues, then I think you're not doing a good service to even those that you are trying to publicize their own policies. So in my own opinion, I think it's a platform for Nigerians, and Nigerians have got a right to express their own opinions on issues that have been, on policies that have been dished out to them. So I think that's what I look at. I think that is, I think the mandate that Radio Nigeria has, and I think we owe it a responsibility to fulfill that mandate.
Okay, that is, you agree that up until your assumption of office, that public perception seemed right because of the practitioners. You want to change that. A medium that is free to say the truth, to be factual about it, and to be courageous about it. That will not pitch you against government?
Well, I don't think so. I think, you see, I think it can pitch you against the government if you set out to criticize the government and do things against the government. But I think people should understand what are the tenets of journalism: to give accurate, impartial, and objective news to people that are listening. If we can do that, I am sure we will not derail and we will not be against any government that is in power. I think that is my belief. And this is, I think, the vision I'm trying to tell, all the stuff that I make, that let us go back to the basic rules of journalism. Let us practice them. The simple example I give is that if you have people in your own community, and then a news breaks in their own community, and they don't hear that particular news from your own radio station that is supposed to serve them, they have to rely on another one which is very far away from them. What do you think they will judge you on? Or if you try to tell that particular story, you try to manipulate the story that they know in front of them. That is not the job that we are supposed to do, and that is what I'm out to correct.
Okay, fine. Thank you, Director General. I hope I'm not taking too much of your time. I will soon let you go. But you are a first class type of person. In college, you had a first degree chemistry. Uh, Again, when it comes to this profession, um, you at one time was the first person to break the news of the death of General Sani Abacha. Again, another first was that you broke the death of MKO Abiola. Again, the first person to interview the Emir of Kano, Alhaji Sanusi. Again, the first person to break the news of that historic phone call of former President Goodluck Jonathan to President Muhammad Buhari, congratulating him, and he exited office. How did you achieve all this first? Where were you when all these things were happening? How were you seeing them? What advantage did you have to get the stories?
With all sense of humility, I think I'm not here to discuss, my achievements. I think...
It's not about achievement, it's about you. We're discussing you. The things we have seen you done, related to your practice. Well, it doesn't matter how you see it, achievement or whatever. You did all these things.
I think the job of a journalist,
yes,
is to try to go to the bottom of the truth, to try to inform people about what is happening in their own immediate environment. Now, if you have that sense of, if you have the skills of it, you always try to look ahead and see what is going to make news. Now, there are certain, I think, I will want to call them uh, tactics that as a journalist you must possess. I think one thing which people find, I mean, neglect in this work is the contact that a journalist has. A journalist is not someone that just, I mean, is supposed to be going around the street and watching and seeing what is happening and then reporting it. No, a journalist is supposed to sit down, look ahead and think of what is going to happen. And you go through your contacts. Try and get information that is useful through your contacts. I think these things, the way I achieve them is because I maintain those contacts, and I think I develop the instinct of what is going to make news. And that is, I mean, the reason why things like that do happen. Yes, you said I did this, I mean, I did that, but the simple example I will give you is in the case of the general election in the form. Now, as a journalist, you are there listening to the Electoral Commission trying, I mean, announcing results. Well, I think to me, there are instances when you look at the results and say these results are heading this particular way. They may change, but then if they don't change what is going to happen, how can I be ahead of the game and see what is going to happen? Now, those are the kind of things. When you say I saw that, and what I only tried to do is very simple. What is happening at the APC camp? What is happening in the presidential campaign group? And what are they doing now that this is what is happening with the results, even before the final results? Are they excited? Are they apprehensive? What is happening? And that's all I did. And from then on, that's when I heard that just now, a few minutes ago, that phone call was made. And as a news person, I felt that was news.
Okay,
And that's how I broke it.
you got the skill, you got the contact, and you had the speed to make it happen. And you were in England.
I remember I had the enabling environment to do that also.
Okay, good. Here, we were all here. Even your counterparts were here. Counterparts like your equals in the profession, regardless of the cultures. They couldn't do it. They should hear it first. They couldn't hear it. They should see it first. They couldn't say it. Or maybe they saw all these things. They couldn't say it. How did you view them, your colleagues, when you were in England? Abacha died, we couldn't break it on time. MQ died, we couldn't break it on time.
Well,
This historic telephone call, we didn't talk about it here. How did you see us that time?
well, I mean, I can't say that I look down on people. No, not at all.
I'm just saying, how did you see us? I didn't say you looked down.
But I mean, I just thought I was doing my job.
What do you think
That's
they
all.
were doing here? Their job too?
They were doing their job, but
Or you
maybe,
felt that was not the way to do it?
to be quite honest, I mean, I never tried to look at and say what were they thinking of. I think I was doing my job, and I think this is, you see, there's something that I think if you're working for a particular medium, what you want is you want people to always come first to you. You want to beat your own competitors. So all I thought it was a race. I mean, I just
Okay,
happened
and you
to be-
ran the race
I just happened to be
for
there.
your
And
organization then.
Someone would have done it.
Okay.
So that's
Okay,
what I'm
you,
saying.
you are not thinking, why were they doing that way? Now, with the hindsight, who do you think we were that we couldn't do that? With the hindsight. Now you are beginning to think about it. I've given you as a food for thought. Who do you think we were?
To be,
Journalists still?
well, yes, of course, journalists.
What type?
Well, journalists who are out doing their own job.
I'm listening, sir.
Well, what do you want me to say? Journalists who are doing their own job. And as I told you, I mean, I have that instinct in my mind, and I want my own medium at that time to be the first with the story. And I'm always trying to look for something that is very different. And I think these are the kind of skills that we want people to imbibe, so that, I mean, when people, I mean, try to get the news, they go to FRCN. This is what we want to do.
Now you are here. If you don't know anything about us, you knew that we couldn't break all these things. Now you're amongst us. Providence has brought you to us. What are you going to do about us?
I think what I'm going to do about FRCN is to give it the leadership. I know that there are people who are intelligent, there are very excellent journalists that are in the corporation. I think is to make sure that I give them the environment to practice journalism the way it should be practiced. There are some of the visions that are communicated to them. I don't think those visions are for public consumption. I think they are for internal consumption. I think those are the things that we need to concentrate on. And I'm sure if we do that, I think if we are committed to doing it, and of course I have the will to do that, and I believe that people that are with me in the corporation, are buying into that idea because they want to add value to what FRCN is doing. I'm sure we are going to succeed. And I think in the near future, what I want is for people actually to say FRCN is the reference point. Remember, as you started, you said FRCN is the largest radio network in Nigeria.
Africa.
In Africa. That's what you said. Now, I want to utilize the resources that FRCN has in order to break stories so that people will come to FRCN for their own stories. Because if you don't utilize that resources, I think will be a big elephant in the room that is not able to do